Hello TBF fans, like always, let's get straight to it. Today it is Olympus, and to be honest with you, we're in the last round of the Olympus tournaments. Before you get anywhere, I know you guys are gonna say, you covered Olympus before, Alex, you showed us a couple things here and there, you're missing out 2 other events, I know, I'm worried about, and I'm gonna get to it. But today, I think it's a good idea that you take a look what it looks like when you're at a tier 9 player, but also this can reflect back to you when you're a smaller player as well. And I'm gonna show you why it's important to understand this tournament a little bit more better than what you already know, because I might be able to cover something that you guys are unaware of. So let's take a look at the tournament as we speak here. The Trail of Olympus goes for about a week. It covers 5 working days, and yes, it can go through the weekend too, but usually it's 5 days. It covers particular events. Now we're aware it may be talking about just your captains, you might be working with just your hero, you might be doing the lava fountain, using store, and also your other characters that can collect the fountains a lot faster due to the equipment you have, or you might be using carded collecting crypts, and of course barriers when you go through your entire army to be able to do some final hits to gain the points you need. Did you know that in approaching this, you need to be a little bit smart as well in the way you approach things? Let me explain something that you guys don't know and it might be clearer for you. At tier 9, you know you're strong, right? We get it. Most importantly, you need your card to be kindly on the heavy side to be able to knock out those level 35 epic crypts. And I know I'm saying epic crypts here because you should be at a level where you can clear that high tier level crypts, because that's what your clan is after when you reach at that tier. At the same time, if you're not at a clan group that's all in a billion might, 500 million might, 600 million might, 700 million might, or billion might in this type of range group, you're actually putting yourself in a situation where you don't want to be into. Now why I say that is because the last thing you need is to be a big player in a small clan. Before I even get anywhere, if you want to hear a bit more about that, you can go back to my channel here, you can scroll down and just take a look, and I have a category which is about big players in a small clan. So just take a look at the episodes here, find it yourself, it's quite enjoyable. You can learn why it's such a big deal, why it isn't so easy being a big player in a small clan, and you don't want to be in that situation, you really don't. Unless you deliberately put yourself in that position, then that's okay. But if you're not trying to aim for that, then I advise you not to do that pathway, because you're not doing yourself any favors. And why I'm going to step away a little bit from Olympus and just say this a bit for now, when you do that, you either one, already belong to that clan and you want to expand or grow it further, and that's a whole different story, or maybe your clan of your own, you want to grow it. But if you happen to be a player that's growing to that extent and you want to grow even larger, then doing that just doesn't work, because they don't have the chest requirement for you to grow large enough, they don't give you enough gold and enough resource, and you're spending out more out of pocket, the mulay that you have in real-time cash, instead of earning it through your clan members as they all work together to achieve that common goal. It becomes impossible. This is why we have things like Trail of Olympus, this is why we have tournaments like Ragnarok, tournaments like Dark Omen event. There's reasons why your leaders and your supervisors advise you to go against these type of tournaments and do well in it, because it's very beneficial not just for the individual but for the whole. And by doing this, you're going to grow real large. But if you happen to be a bigger player playing in a small clan, that dynamic only really favors the small and not yourself. So you really got to think about it first before you shift over. And for those who haven't done it before, learn it now and learn it fast, because you're going to put yourself in a situation where you don't want to be in. You do not want to be in unless you choose to be in. So that's different, okay? Let's go back to Trail of Olympus and why it's such a big deal. Thing is, when you're a tier 9 player, you do want your card to be at a high level. You don't want to back down on that. And you are looking at clearing crypts at a high tier level. And doing so will allow you to collect those chests a lot faster when during the tournament. So you see my card here, I've got his artifact equipped, which is very handy, Torch of Olympus. You'll notice that I've got particular gear, which is under the Imminent of Death gear, dagger, then you are pretty much equipping the light pendant, and I also have the Ancient Atlas of Dungeon book that he carries along with him. These artifacts, and you don't have to buy the same type, are extremely effective against the, well, not against, but more chasing after against those epic crypts. Now, why am I talking about this at this level? Why does it matter? It does matter, it does. Because if you have gear at high level, it means you waste less tar, which is specialized tar, especially in this tournament, because you have to remember, guys, when you're in the Trials of Olympus, you gain special tar from the lava fountain trials, and you only gain that tile from that tournament. Moving on to the trials of Tartarus, that's where Kata kicks in, right? And if he comes in there with not the correct tile to be able to perform at a level that you want him to, then you're just going to fail to achieve your goal. And you want a high level Kata as much as possible, so then dealing this and knocking it out becomes fast. Now you would see here, I've got a 20-20 completion. I did that very, very fast, no joke. You don't realize how quick it is until you earn those levels. Now, when you're at a lower tier, guys, I know when you're smaller, when you're a medium player or small player, collecting level 5, level 10, level 15, level 20, even level 25 seems a bit of a trial, challenging in its own sense as well. Because what you see here, that you have to collect like 10 or 15 just to achieve each goal, personal goal. But at tier 9, I tell you guys, it only takes about 3 runs and you clear one personal goal straight away. Three, that's all it takes. And by the time you know it, you nail it in the park so fast. That's the difference of having an OP, an overpowered Kata, than someone which is mediocre or playing Kata which is yet to achieve those goals. And you will eventually get there, but it's an FYI why you should actually try to aim high to finish him. And I even would advise you that you should try to push your Kata up even above your other upgrades. So if you look at your main upgrades in the academy, I actually advise you, because I know guardsmen, specialists, and monsters are just as important, but you should put a much stronger emphasis on upgrading your archaeology, because let's face it, especially early days, when you guys are in your domes still under 3 months, to be honest with you, they're looking at 2 things, guys. 1, that you have a gold pass. 2, you have a strong Kata. Because if you can collect the crypts, you can still achieve that gold level, gold class player, right? When you get that every month. And of course, if you get gold class, that means everyone benefits the rewards and you can get all the little shiny benefits, and plus you get skins for your castle. We know that. But it's even more important that you reach that level, because that's what they're after. And even when that shield barrier breaks down, you want your Kata to be at a good level, because it makes the tournament easier. Now, why I'm emphasizing this so much and such an important thing, because that tournament earning 2020 is very easy to gain, especially when you're high tier level. Now, for those who are low tier, it's not the end of the world. You can still achieve that high level, but I think it's a lot harder in general, because you find yourself that even though you gain all the lava necessary, and this becomes so easy depending if you manage to build a NAP alliance with the other parties. Now, a NAP alliance is pretty much like, it's an agreement, basically an agreement where you make a rule between the other rivaling clans that you're battling against, where you will not battle each other while you're collecting those lava fountains. Because let's face it, collecting those lava fountains takes time to take over. It's equivalent to no different to when you go take over a village or a resource on a different tile. It takes time, right? And when you're a smaller, medium, or large player, that time is the difference from you losing all your resources because someone attacks you, and that happens a lot. It does happen a lot in this particular tournament than it was before. Now, before I even jump onto that, you guys are very lucky, especially this time period, because back then people were able to attack in your kingdom by just building not a KVK portal, but an Olympus portal. Just because they have it there, they can attack other villages and other things all around the kingdom, and that was approved and allowed during the early days of Olympus. There's a bit more strictness down below. The developers got a little bit, maybe advised a little bit more indefinitely they should make a change to it so it prevents that. Now you can only attack the clans that are pretty much embedded to the ones you're battling against, which is unfortunate, because with all honesty, I didn't mind that being able to attack other people in the same kingdom. Using both Olympus portals and KVK portals just extends the ability to gather more silver and other more resources. Now, I know everyone has their mixed views on it, but that was plenty of a plain truth to it too. Now, in this sense, to knowing that the lava fountain provides such resources to allow your Kata to perform well in the Tartarus event, it makes it more vital that you collect that tar, right? So, if you have these NAP agreements, the thing that it's a problem, especially when you're high tier level here, you find yourself only collecting up to a minimal point because you just can't attack anybody. But in saying that, you're also not too worried about, because you can rely on your clan members to pull their weight, right? Because in the end, if they pull their weight, you gain just as much as they do. Because that's the whole idea. You're supporting each other, making it possible. That's why tournaments like the Trial of the Chimera or the Trial of Basilisk, when you're going through your captains or you're going through just your hero alone, the last trial of Barreras, where you can gain max amount of valor and all the other points necessary and actually also upgrade your troops at the same time, you find yourself in a position where it becomes easier. And that's because you are at that high tier level. You're playing at a very, very high level and everyone's achieving the same goal. But while you're on the smaller medium play, I would say take advantage of the fact that you have to build your captains. So you're going up against the Chimera event or you're going against the Boreas event. You find that matching your captains gives you a good chance to level them up. And just like I said before, when you're going against tournaments, the Arcane Swarm event, or you're going into the Trials of the Chimera event, or even Ragnarok and other events like the Shadow Invasion event, also Dark Omen event, you find that you have the ability to upgrade everyone on your team. So that will allow your heroes and captains to develop. But of course, like I said before, be careful of who you pick, because you want to make sure that tournaments that require the full force of your major attacking party to perform rather than your resource party to go in there, because you may be matching with the wrong troops. So you need to think about first, am I here to upgrade my resource troops, or am I here to literally deal maximum damage to gain the most valor I can, or to support my clan to perform at a high level, right? So that's important. So if we go back into and we look at the Trials of Olympus, we then take a look at this very clearly. You've now mastered those areas because you're understanding that Trials, Lava Fountain pretty much achieves the Trials of Titorius, but you need to perform well in the other tournaments so then you can get a game rank in against the other three parties, right? Because that's important. And Trials of Boreas is the final chance to really kick the other clan's asses there to gain the type of valor you need and the points necessary to gain. But once you get it, you have to don't forget about the store, okay guys? So in the store, when looking at this, the most important items you need to get are as follows. You need to get Zeus Lightning Fragments. Now, the Zeus Lightning Fragments will allow you to do double damage, and that's a very, very effective means. Now, I see some people use it, not everyone. I've used it a few times, and I think it I wouldn't lie to you, but I actually feel the Zeus Lightning Fragments, right, the actual equipment, would be exactly to the equivalent of having this, the other artifact, which is the Ghost Lantern Flame. Because if you look at it, it gives you strength for the entire army against epic monsters. This is really, really strong. But for some reason, I find the double hit, now a really good combo, guys, a really, really good combo is you use the double hit strike and you combine it with your hero, Maronus. And Maronus' ability here gives you a 1.5 increase as long as you have a full set of equipment. As long as he has the full set of equipment. That means all 6 pieces. Quick reminder for those who don't remember, all 6 pieces doesn't mean all from the same class. You can have 6 pieces of 4 pieces of general here and 2 pieces gold class, right? 3 pieces here that's in epic, and you have 5 pieces here which is on purple, whatever it's going to be, right? Your gear, as long as it's this exact same gear, 6 pieces, then his 1.5 times ability kicks off. With the double lighting effect, with those ones that have bonuses, it hits so much harder. You do so much damage. So that's a really good combo to go 2 and 2 together. Now, if we go back again to the Olympus here, you're going to find that when you actually hit into the Trials of Boreas, right, which is happening right now, this one is really, really vital. Now, I'll explain why. And I have a video separate to him. So again, guys, if you want to take a look again, there are more episodes in the main webpage. You can take a look, which talks about Olympus, which talks about other events, and you can take a look at it. So this is all on the page there. Once again, take a look. It'll give you a walkthrough and what you need to hear about. But what's important here is you need to take down this Titan, because 52 clan chests here. Now, what you see here on my screen will vary depending on the might level of your hero, because your might level of your hero based on the might level of all your other heroes within your clan. So this clan will count towards your leaders, your superiors, officers, veterans, and soldiers, which is basically your entire team. That will add up to what your Boreas is going to be like, what your Boreas is going to be on the type of clan chest you achieve, what you better gain as a clan as a whole, because it's the total weight of where your team members are at, which will determine the clan chest that's provided within the tournament that you will be facing that particular Boreas, okay? Now, it's also a great opportunity to earn other rewards, but seriously, guys, if you're in a point where most of your clan members are at tier 8 and tier 9, you are at a stage where you can take down epics very easily, and this is one particular tournament you do not want to miss out, and you want to slay the beast, because slaying him and earn those rewards is absolutely vital for clan growth. because Valor becomes nothing when you start hitting 600 million, 700 million. By that point, you've actually achieved and unlocked most of your Valor points already. It's only the CP, and that becomes more difficult to earn because you don't know if you manage to make enough colleagues or team members during this time period, so then you can gain that CP a lot faster. That's why the CP is so hard to earn. If you're like everyone else and you're focusing really heavily on your Valor, then by 600 million, 700 million, you're done. You're completely done and it becomes invalid. You just don't know what to use it for anymore. And that's a shame because the developers never made a way to share Valor out to other members. So hopefully that's something that could be in the draw books for later, because having that ability to do that is insane. That means you can actually grow other team members, you can grow your other accounts and give your Valor to other players. Wow, I would love to see that as an attribute or a contribution or something that can be offered in the game later on. Leave a comment down below if you think that's true, or maybe you want to ask the developers later on. I'd love to hear your input. So going back to the Trials of Olympus now, going backwards just a little bit, you'll notice that these two first ones during the Trials of Chimera and the Trials of Basilisk, this is your point of attack where you're going for your captains and your hero. Now, like I said before, it's important to take note that if you're going for your captains, are you going in there to earn maximum Valor? If you are, then go in with your full attack troop army. Or are you going there to build your resource captains, to build your other captains to get a chance to develop, so that way you'll be able to build your Hall of Fame? I'm going to go back a little bit more because for those who are brand new and fresh and don't quite understand how that works, you kind of want to play this game with a level of balance. This game is, everything about it is about balance. Now, the Hall of Fame, guys, is extremely vital if you remember to play in each area that's important. So you got tenacity, you got courage, and you got resolve. Now, in these three areas, you'll notice that captains are aligned for each sector that they're in, or each sect they're in. And each sect they're in will then look at the Hall of Fame crystals, which earns either conquest points, valor points, and experience points. And that will only develop even more so when they are aligned. So you see how it's level 51 at the moment down below for me, for this account. You'll notice that the next requirement for faction lights is hitting 91. So if I gain 1 level for the courage sect, that means I'm actually able to achieve that next level up. Now, why am I emphasizing a little bit on the Hall of Fame? Because that determines on the growth and strength of your full army, your hero, against players, against epics. It is all about balance. So if you do that and you have a focus on that, that means you guys are going to gain extra points, extra valor points, extra CP points, extra ways of earning ways to perform better, to hit harder, and to do better. That's why there's a huge emphasis about the Hall of Fame area. If your guys are not already talking about it, make sure you focus on it because it's going to help you as a whole. So if we go back here, that's why you want to make sure that when you go against the Chimera, you want to attack with balance. You want to attack with emphasis. Now, if you choose to go with your heroes, as you go into the Trials of Basilisk, and you're marching now in with your hero, you're going to find that by doing so, that will increase the division that you win. And that can be very daunting at times because, like I said before, guys, if you're doing these battles and you're looking at the division you're in, you just take a look for another tournament, for instance. At the moment, I can't show you guys, but basically your hero, like I said, determines which division you're in. So you need to really think about it first. Are you willing to go and do that one tournament? And this is why I say, and this is take note these guys, this is why it's important to remember that is it vital or is it really that important to do the particular Trial of Basilisk or even tournaments where it actually tells you to upgrade your hero when it makes the tournament that much harder to earn your trophies, or that much harder to level up, or that much harder to be in rank anymore. That's what it does to you. So if you choose to upgrade your hero, make sure your captain's at a high level. That's just as important. Remember the rule I said earlier in my previous videos. You make sure that if your hero is level 10, for example, right? You want to make sure your captains are 3 or 4 times larger than your hero, meaning they'll be level 30 or level 40, is level 10. Over the level 20, then you want to make sure that your guys are level 40 or level 50. If you stay ahead, always 30 levels ahead, always above your main hero, that means you're prepared to fight those tournaments because you are way ahead, right? You're way ahead. Or you're 100 levels ahead or 200 levels ahead of your hero, giving you a better chance to perform better. And that rule applies everywhere, not just Olympus. It applies everywhere. That's why I'm emphasizing the different ways looking at it, no matter what level, what tier that you win. It's very important. And when you reach the final, the Trial of Barreras, that's your last chance of earning it all. So going full on with your attacking with your captains and your lineup that you have there, you'll be able to have the right squad to perform and attacking properly rather than just building your own troops. So take note and remember that. It's very, very important. Now we go back to the Trials of Olympus again, and we go back to the store. Again, we go back to what's important. So I already talked about a little combo with the Zeus Lightning Fragment, but we look at the Hermes chest here. You notice you can earn several rewards. If you're in particular clans, they will ask you to collect those 5 chests. That 5 chests will then you all gain. Very no different to going in Ragnarok, those particular chests you can gain for the clan. The Hermes event is just the same. In Olympus, you can actually achieve that and earn it. Now, not every clan's gonna ask you to do it. It's not that important. If when you're a really high tier class, as long as you collect those high tier chests, no one gives a rat's and you're two performing really well. But if you're not, that's something you have to collect. I would not collect keys. That's a waste of time. You can gain it yourself against citadels. You don't need to worry about dragon coins because your team, which is your supervisor, your team leader, will provide that for you as long as you're performing well. And I'm sure you will be if you're not doing really poorly. If you are doing very poorly, then you may want to consider of bringing up your game level. So how do you do that? Perform better in your tournaments. And how do you achieve that? Everyone has to perform better in collecting chests, because at the end of the day, it's about hitting those chests, hitting those heroics, hitting those cursed citadels and elf citadels to perform at your highest optimum level. That's what you want to do. Perform really, really, really well. Okay, guys? Now, if we look into anything else here, artifact experience, that's a waste of time. Don't bother doing that. You can earn it for other tournaments. Earning the March briefing, it's actually okay, but depends on where you are. I think that if you're nearing the end of it, you can buy some, but you can just save your coins. It'll roll over, which is not too bad of a thing. So if we look at this and we move across now, you don't want to bother getting Olympus portals. That's a waste of time. You may want to consider getting Dragon Orbs because Dragon Orbs is very hard to earn and that'll allow you to level up your dragon. So that's actually not a bad item to gain. Do not purchase Elite Summoning Scrolls. It's a waste. You can earn a lot more of them during the Tin Man Ancient Summoning event. That will earn you a lot as you keep slaying it, and you'll be earning a lot more as you progress through the game. As you keep playing, leveling up, that will come easy for you. So don't purchase that. Silver, depending where you are. If you're on a low tier or medium tier, then think of buying it because that'll be very handy for you. That'll help you out, but I would try to reserve that because you want to focus more on getting the Dragon Orbs. If you're not getting the Dragon Orbs, you're focusing on either getting the Clan Chest because that's a requirement, or you're getting the Zeus Lightning Fragments, which allows you doing the double hit. Okay, guys? And moving forward of here, of course, it's Epic Tut, waste of time, don't buy it. And last of all, the speed ups. Now, they're great and all to help you develop, but don't bother buying it if your clan is already achieving at a high maximum levels. I understand if you're in a small medium group because not everyone can achieve enough for you to level up, and I get it, I know where you're coming from. So if you're doing that, that's okay. But when you're high tier, I'm talking about like when you're reaching a clan where you have a couple more tier 7s, the majority of them are tier 8, tier 9, that's a waste of time. Don't bother getting it. But if you're on a lower tier clan, like I'm talking about like really low tier guys, like under guards tier level 5, that's pretty low. Then buying those things is very handy. That does kind of help out. But medium up, guys, you got to try to avoid getting these things and get the things that count. So hopefully that gives you a better idea what you should be purchasing during the Hermes tournament. So that's very handy. We'll get past that during the Olympus tournament, guys. And that's kind of the picture of looking into it when you look at these 5 particular Olympus tournament during these 5 days event and how you should kind of navigate yourself around this. So that's kind of my perspective at a high tier level 9 player and looking back on your medium or small player. Okay, guys? So hopefully that's been very helpful for you. You know me, guys. If you want to reach out to me, I'd love to collab with you. Just reach out. We can go on a Zoom call, Discord call, whatever works for you guys. If not, leave a like, subscribe. I'll see you guys again in the next TBF episode. Bye now.